sometimes you're not going to be able to run the ball effectively, or sometimes your quarterback is going to have a lackluster game, or sometimes your wide receivers are going to get banged up. Like Hardman was obviously banged up, and I blame that mostly for him being ineffective. Sometimes your offensive line is going to struggle to pass protect on the outside. The Chiefs had all of that. Like Patrick Mahomes led the team in rushing, which not good considering only had 26 yards. They couldn't run the ball to save their lives. They averaged 2.5 yards a carry, tried 23 times. Don't get me wrong. They tried to run the ball, just couldn't do it. Patrick Mahomes was, I've seen some people call him terrible or just brutal. They've used words like that. I don't think he was brutal. I just don't think he was good. I think he was mostly acceptable during the game. He did overthrow MVS in the first quarter, but he also had Kelsey for what probably would have been the game-winning touchdown. I'm not trying to say they cancel out, but Mahomes made some plays. I think he was generally okay. Kelsey, obviously the drop was bad. MVS, not great. Juju had one big play that kind of inflated his stats. The wide receivers, so like I have several takeaways and points from the Chiefs' loss. They can't run the ball, at least in that game. I think the running game is worse than it was to start the year, but a lot better than it was against the Colts. I think Mahomes is obviously better than this. I think Kelsey is obviously better than this. The wide receiving core is interesting. I think a lot of this is the Chiefs having continuity in that group before and having results in that group before, and people having high hopes and getting a taste of the Cardinals game. Like if that Cardinals game doesn't happen, I think we're having a lot different conversations about the Chiefs in general. The fact that they've made it seem so easy offensively against Arizona and now have struggled back-to-back games, it's going to take a minute, I think. Maybe it doesn't happen ever, and maybe the wide receivers just suck. But I urge people to just give it a little bit. The offensive line. It's not time to give up on the tackles. Andrew Wiley's generally been pretty solid this year. Like he's been better than Orlando Brown Jr., I think, and a lot of people think. Orlando Brown Jr. has been banged up. He just didn't have it against the Colts. He was struggling bad. The thing is, the Chiefs are going to keep playing good defensive lines. They're going to play better defensive lines than Indy. They played one last week, and he also looked bad against them. If you're going to worry about the Chiefs offense, to hell with Patrick Mahomes having an okay game. He's going to be fine. The running game's probably going to be fine. It's the wide receivers and the offensive line you need to be worried about. That's not an original thought. That a lot of people are thinking that. But that would be where I'd kind of direct my worry, I guess, if I had to with the offense. If I had to rank everything, I wouldn't even be worried about special teams because that was a fluky type thing. Yeah. The offense may not be fluky. Some of it is, some of it might not be. But again, I urge people to just wait and find out, because through 3 weeks of a new season with a new look group, you're not going to find out the final answer. It's going to take weeks before that happens.
Yeah, Orlando Brown Jr. looked silly a few times out there today. He was falling down on his back. It just looked so weird and out of place. But yeah, like you said, they're playing some tougher lines coming up. I mean, they've got the Bucs next Sunday night. That's going to be a tough game. They have a good defense. Their offense doesn't look good right now, but their defense looks good. So that'll be an interesting game on Sunday Night Football next week for the Chiefs, assuming they can play it there. I hear there's a hurricane coming in toward the Tampa area. So sorry, I'm getting off on a weather tangent here, but
hey, yeah. you're all good, dude.
Or Orlando Brown, yeah, falling on his back can't happen every week. That's something that can't happen. So I know Wiley left for a little bit, but he came back in, so that was good to see. I'm not sure when Lucas Niang's coming off IR. Is it a 6-week thing for him?
4 weeks.
Okay, so he might be able to return after the Bucs game. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. I think, was Kennard called up from the practice squad today?
He's just been a healthy scratch. So he's been active, quote unquote, but like inactive on game day. Okay.
So yeah, they don't trust him yet. I mean, that's kind of expected. He's a rookie, 5th round guy. He's no Trey Smith. So that's that's that. It's the right tackle is going to be what it is for a little bit. Same with the left tackle. I mean, Orlando Brown Jr. is their guy. So if he keeps falling on his tail every week, that's just going to be a terrible recurring theme. I don't think it's going to happen like that. I think he's going to improve. I think he's going to get better. But if not, that's definitely going to be something not good for the Chiefs offense moving forward if that's the case.
Yeah, and I think he got tripped on the one where it was blatant, but like he's had really bad moments all season so far. It's not just that. Like I think, and I'm kind of sounding like a hypocrite, I guess, because I'm telling people it's okay to worry about stuff like the wide receiver, not depth, but the heights that group can reach consistently, and the offensive tackle group not playing well, yada yada. Because it's not going to get easier for the Chiefs. If they make the playoffs, they're going to be playing, in theory, better teams. With that said, it's been 3 weeks. Like, I generally and genuinely don't think any different about the Chiefs right now. It's been 3 weeks. After the Cardinals game, I wasn't like, oh, the Chiefs are going to breeze through this season. After the Chargers game, I wasn't like, oh, the Chiefs are effed. After this game, I'm not in the middle on that at all or feeling worse. Like, the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. The Chiefs are going to the process between, I don't know, weeks 4 through 8 is what I would keep an eye on. If they're really still doomed after week 8, banking on them to have that like aha moment after that, like they have in the past, kind of foolish, I think. But if they can get better over the next 4 to 5 weeks, if by November 1st, this team can figure things out, then that's when you make a determination on them. Or if they don't, if they still look so-so and they're whatever the record would be, 3-4 again or whatever. I'm not a big believer in this team is now what it's going to be at the end of the year. And I think people need to keep that in mind.